Hey everybody, this is Petey from the Spinner Rack, and today I'm doing a video that was talked about, a project that was talked about but never actually happened. So to give you some history on this, thinking here, there's talks of Wolverine joining the Alpha Flight if Byrne did an Alpha Flight series, right? And I think there was a blurb where Byrne was saying, Wolverine's coming back home. Since the Alpha Flight aren't working for the government, it would be a good time for him to come back home. And that was put on Byrne's website. I don't have it, the quote anymore, but someone asked about it, and then it said, it's either Chris or the X office didn't let it happen. So Byrne was pretty happy with Puck. But Wolverine got to appear in a bunch of issues, but he wasn't a regular on the series. Now, I thought it was this, where he talks about Wolverine, he talks about Wolverine's origin, which we would see in Elsewhere. But I think he says, they asked him about doing a Wolverine Mini Series. He said, I did have one. And I said, it just never went anywhere at Marvel. So then that would be two things that never happened. So this one's not going to be that long. Right? So at some point when West Coast Avengers was rolling and Namor the Submariner was out, that's crazy. So Namor the Submariner is out, burns off She-Hulk, West Coast Avengers is still happening. There's plans for a Invaders reunion since Byrne was doing the Avengers. And then this blurb came out. I'm going to show you this. And here we go. Excuse me. So, how many of these things that didn't happen in this blurb? Right? Dateline, the Johnny Marvel. And at the top of this, we also have Stan's so-called World of Tomorrow, which didn't happen. But that got into some editorial thing that I've talked about before, right? So Johnny Marvel talks about the visits. And then the first thing they say here, which is crazy, right? I don't know if you can see it. Now it's a little nuts. But here, this is in the middle of the screen. Kind of doctored it so you can see it a little better. Ultra prolific artist, writer, novelist John Byrne was recently seen huddling with ex-editor Bob Harras over a projected Wolverine limited series that John would write and draw. Mega Nice Uber anchor Terry Austin joined in the huddle and said he would like to ambush the project, right? So I was like, whoa. Now, this would go against what I think the Image guys were saying, that Byrne wasn't getting the top talent, even though he already did Wolverine the series. The fact that someone would put a blurb out there that Byrne was going to do something saying, you knew this would be a hyped up thing. And at the same time, who else? At the same time, well, it could be something that he may have forgotten, but on his website, they asked John Byrne about it, and he said, never heard of it. But the fact that someone else had remembered this made me want to do a video on this. This was a while back when Byrne had said this, but let's look. I think there was this Mike Mignola project. This was killed by X-Force when he was on X-Force for one issue, and he couldn't get the X-Office to allow him to do a cover. So he had like a Wolverine, Cable, Fantastic Four thing he was planning. He was going to do a dual issue where he was going to write or plot something with Art Adams to draw. And it didn't happen. This Wolverine and Rain, this came out with Andy Kubert. Fabian Nicieza definitely took over the New Mutants with Rob Liefeld. And then Don Daly was talking about Jim Lee, who worked on a graphic novel for Punisher, Rules of the Game. I don't think that ever came out yet. So, but that was because he's more interested in other things, right? There's a new Deathlock project that came out, yes. I guess we should keep going through it, right? Anything else? Don't know. So there we go. So this is just a short thing, but imagine you're sitting around your fan of Byrne's and you see Byrne and Terry Austin are getting back together to do a Wolverine project. Now they only did mainly one thing when Byrne came back to Marvel, which was the West Coast Avengers annual number 4. And they did what's that other thing? What the? They did one issue of What the. So there's like 2 things that they did during this period. And then the next time they worked together, he'd be at DC. So, and there'd be a long gap in between there, right? But they would do a poster together. But that would be late at that time. And that, which I use for the postage stamp, the thumbnail that's here. So imagine seeing that and have it not happen. And then possibly someone just decided we needed some news. So we'll just use Byrne. We'll use Byrne, Wolverine Limited Series, see if there's some buzz around it, and who knows what happened. But Byrne has never talked about this. He doesn't say, so that would say he never talked about pitching this, and he said it never happened. So it's a good chance it didn't happen because he's usually pretty lucid on what happened and what didn't happen. So it's a sad day that this ultimately was someone deciding to play with our fans' hearts. Or maybe it could be something he forgot, but more often than not, he would remember. So it was knee deep in the Avengers and Namor is out. So it seems like there's a hot book to be done and it was announced. So I was just like, I can't wait. I want to hear something about it. And there was no interviews about it. And the next, he was on, what was it? She-Hulk, Namor, and OMAC. And he was like, an Iron Man. So it was like, he is way far from the mainstream, but then X-Men would come along. So he was doing X-Men for a short period, and then he went to Dark Horse. So there we go. I wanted to do this little blurb and just get your minds kind of rustling about possibilities of in 1991 Byrne doing a no, he kept doing, even though there was issues with Marvel World of Tomorrow, he did finish up his thing on She-Hulk and such. So who knows? I guess that's about it. Spinner Rack is out.